Hello everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're talking about Josh and Lily. Because after a shaky start to Josh's arrival in China, Lily takes Josh out to meet her friends, where we discover that Josh may have some jealousy issues around his 46-year-old wife having male friends.
That always just made me wonder, who are these guys that she's playing with?
So let's get into it. The episode starts off with Josh and Lily going to a badminton court to play and meet up with Lily's friends.
This is my husband.
Hi. Utes.
Josh, being the Lego and RC car kind of guy, not really into sports,
I'm not one for sports. I never really liked competition.
but is willing to try it out with Lily, while rocking a very festive shirt, may I add. Lily and Josh team up against two of Lily's friends. They play a few rounds and damn, Lily said that she just plays for fun and really isn't very good. But I see her out here. She's doing some sprints here. She's getting to that badminton. I think it's called is it called a birdie in badminton? Badminton ball name. A shuttlecock, also called a birdie or shuttle, so kind of right. After the game is over, everyone shows some good sportsmanship. They're very supportive of Josh, tell him good job.
They said you are the best and the luckiest man.
Everyone looks really nice and seems to have had a good time. But despite what I thought going into this scene, it wasn't the exercise that makes this whole thing a bit awkward. What's awkward about this encounter is that Josh may be a little jealous and distrustful of Lily's friends, specifically because she plays with guys. The first indication we get of this is in a one-on-one where Josh tells us that Lily's always talking about these guys that she plays badminton with, which, in Josh's words, always made him wonder what's going on with these guys.
Lily's talked about the guys she's played badminton with before. That always just made me wonder, who are these guys that she's playing with? So it's just nice to finally meet them.
Which isn't the worst thing to say. This is a positive spin. He's not saying that he's distrustful or jealous. But his feelings become more clear later in the episode when Lily confronts him about his feelings. After the game, Josh and Lily are talking about how everything just went. Lily says how much fun this was, that she's always glad to go because it just makes her really happy and relaxed, but points out that maybe sometimes in the past when I've told you, Josh, that I'm playing badminton with these friends, it seems like sometimes you get a little upset. And it feels to me like maybe you're a little jealous that I play with guys.
I think you're jealous and with guys play, but today I think you understand. Just play hard.
We're getting into some juicy stuff here, but I like the way Lily is handling this so far. She's not being accusatory or blaming, she's actually being pretty soft and gentle in the way she talks. Josh goes on to explain that in the past, when Lily has gone out to play badminton, he would occasionally ask her if he can video chat so that he can see the people she's playing with.
Sometimes I would ask you, can we video call? Can I see who you play with?
And when Lily denied those offers, then Josh started to get a little jealous and insecure.
And when you would say no, it made me wonder why. Why can't I see who you're playing with? That made me jealous.
Which I'm not sure exactly how Josh would have asked this. I could totally imagine if my partner or someone I'm dating is saying, hey, you're going out, can I video call to essentially check up on you and make sure that you're not lying or with people that I don't like? That's kind of like, no, F off, That feels a little controlling and boundary stepping to me. Okay, you're jealous, but that's, not my problem a little bit. But I also wonder if Josh could have just happened to ask, like, hey, can you video call? But then when she's with her friends, then she's like, well, no, I can't. And maybe that triggers some insecurity. Does that mean something is up? Like, why is it now sketchy? I don't know. It's probably not that. He's probably just being a little jealous. Either way, I think it's good that in this instance, Josh can relatively calmly explain why or what happened that made him feel the way he did, and admits to feeling jealous instead of just deflecting and blaming everything on her. Lily takes that in stride and says that, I understand, but you have to understand, Josh, that when you're jealous and insecure, some of the things you tell me, they hurt my feelings.
Sometimes you hurt words to me. Example, you think we could help you. You said a lot times. Hurts me.
Lily explains that Josh has said many times throughout their various fights or insecurities that Josh will accuse Lily of only having a fake love towards him. Or, as Josh clarifies in a bit, that you might love me, but you're not in love with me.
When I feel ignored, sometimes I will say, I know you love me, but you're not in love with me.
According to Lily, he would accuse her of being with other men or ditching her husband.
他就会说我是跟男人在一起啊，把老公抛在后面了呀，就说很多伤害我的话。
All classic signs of jealousy and insecurity that seems a little out of character for someone who's 47 years old. Josh, again, to his credit, doesn't deny the things that Lily is saying and goes on to explain that, yeah, I text you sometimes and then when there's hours that go by and you don't respond, but I see that you read the message and I know that you're out with friends that you won't let me see, then it just triggers my insecurity and then I start worrying.
If we message and you take hours, but yet I see that the message is read.
And yeah, I get that. That's a very classic insecure attachment style, where maybe at the beginning of the day, you only felt 5% insecure with your partner, and then you might try to seek out just a little bit of reassurance by saying, hey, what you up to? Are you gonna be out long? Can I see your friends? Something that maybe isn't the biggest deal, but is an attempt by the Josh in the situation to quell some of his insecurities. And then when Lily says no, or doesn't respond to a message, or Josh sees that he's being left on red, then the negative thoughts and the insecurities start to spiral a bit, and the insecurities mount more and more, and then Josh may be, like many of us, in an insecurity and jealousy-filled hole where now you're just ruminating on, what's going on? Is she out there? Does she even like me? Like, I feel so ignored. It just gets very bad very quickly. And oftentimes, people with these kind of attachment styles that find themselves spiraling like this, that's when you get the "you don't love me" texts. The "okay, I guess this whole thing is over. You don't love me. You've never loved me. You're abandoning me, and I can't believe you would do all this, that, and the other." The kind of ridiculous, objectively looking texts, where Josh may get very accusatory and come up with these grand statements and beliefs about how he is unloved or uncared for in the relationship. I mean, this is pretty classic. Stereotypically, at least in Western culture, we associate this kind of insecure attachment style more often with women who get insecure like this and then send the freak out messages and then afterwards have to kind of reel it back in and apologize. It doesn't always have to be the most extreme examples. I think this kind of small thing happens, makes you feel slightly more insecure. You try to reach out harder, and then when that doesn't get accepted, you just feel worse and worse and that's spiraling. That can happen. I know that's happened to me before in previous relationships and even happened early on in the relationship I'm currently in before a lot of healing. And although one would think that this kind of insecurity and jealous kind of behavior it feels a bit more familiar or understandable coming from, say, a 16-year-old or someone in their early 20s and unable to process and handle a lot of these normal feelings of jealousy and insecurity. But you don't typically see it from a 47-year-old guy like Josh, until you remember that he has had 3 divorces before. I forget if he's been married 3 times or if this is his 3rd marriage, but when I was seeing this jealousy from him, that's the first place I thought, especially when he apparently accused Lily of loving him, but not being in love with him.
When I feel ignored, sometimes I will say, I know you love me, but you're not in love with me.
That's kind of a specific accusation, and the first thing I thought was maybe that was something that was said in a previous failed marriage of his. Maybe he's in a marriage, but it's kind of a loveless marriage or not a lot of passion, some growing apart. And maybe when he's feeling insecure and about to be abandoned, maybe then his wife tells him that the reason we have this distance is because, yes, I still love you, but I have fallen out of love with you or something like that. And maybe that has contributed to his insecurity and is now projecting that and seeing that manifest in his relationship where it may not be otherwise. So, although it may be somewhat unusual to see someone who looks like Josh exhibit these kind of jealous behaviors, I think personally it's a lot more common than we think, and we just don't see a lot of Joshes in the world actually admit to their feelings in a productive, healthy way. Lily tells Josh that it feels like he's frequently jealous and insecure and is afraid that Lily will leave him, but tries to reassure Josh that I'm never gonna leave you, I'm with you, I love you and all that. And Josh is able to admit that, yeah, you're right. I am afraid of you leaving. I do have abandonment issues. It's happened to me in the past and I'm worried that you'll leave me now.
I don't leave you, never.
That is a fear I have. I've been in relationships where I've been abandoned, and I just don't want to ever feel you'll abandon me.
Lily supports Josh and tells him that she loves him, while also reiterating that it does hurt her feelings and doesn't sacrifice her own needs in the conversation either.
I'm so happy you are my husband, but you don't say hurt words. These words so hurt me.
And honestly, they nailed that conversation. I think the two of them did a great job. Lily stood up for herself, told Josh directly how she felt, was specific in saying, it is these things that make me feel bad. Doesn't say, you just make me feel bad. She's specific about her requests. And she brings it up in such a soft and gentle way that it really maximizes the potential for Josh to respond in turn with his own sensitivity. Doesn't get defensive, doesn't get accusatory, and is able to just calmly explain how and why he feels the way he does. Lily tells the camera afterwards that she was pretty nervous in bringing this up with Josh because she was nervous that he might get defensive and get upset, but feels optimistic that now that this has been brought up, that it'll get better, which I agree with. But not everything is completely golden and roses yet, because then we get a one-on-one from Josh where it seems like he may have interpreted this whole situation very differently. Because he tells the cameras that although he's used to them fighting and they've had their fair share of fights, he was hoping that they wouldn't be fighting anymore. And once they get together in China, that they would not continue to have these problems.
I was hoping when I got here that all the arguments would go away, but instead, I'm realizing we have more problems than I thought we did.
And the episode ends with Lily reassuring the Josh that she loves him, while we don't see the same energy reciprocated from Josh.
I'm in love with you. Always, forever.
Now, real quickly, I have to say, that one-on-one with Josh at the end there, that was edited in there. All of the one-on-ones on the show are filmed later on in the process, and then the producers decide which little clips make the most contextual or relevant sense to put where. So although in this context, when they decided to put that one-on-one here, it makes it seem as if Josh saw this whole problem resolution talk about the insecurity and the jealousy in a somewhat negative light, as if he's interpreting this as not a success for their relationship, but, oh man, we always have all these problems and it really sucks that we have so many and I don't know if this is good for us, when in reality I think this is actually a good win for them, and this was great for their relationship that they were able to navigate this and work through it together. So my final thoughts is, I hope Josh also sees it that way and interprets, I think, their great way of handling this conflict as a positive, and that final scene was just edited in there to shed some doubt on that. That's all I got for today's video. Let me know what you thought about this couple in the comments down below. A big thank you to all of you channel members for helping the channel grow, with an extra special thank you to Nancy Jones for being a producer of this channel. And until next time, I'll see you later.